What up, Professor? What's going on? What's good? What's good? Oh yeah? What hard decisions you got to make? Got one of the trains coming. 70 new schools. What you mean 70 new schools? Like you mean like 70 new students or like 70 new schools? Word, word. So 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 you opening 70 new fire 70 new fire locations, 70 new fire academies? God damn, man. 70. They asking you? They asking you? Shoot, man. They trying to make you be they trying to make you be Captain Planet. They trying to turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger. They trying to turn you into Rambo. Oh, that's what's up. Park ranger position. Comfortable little position. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. I'm just out here I'm just out here testing out my new phone. I got a new phone, so I'm testing out the angles, testing out the camera, you know. This is Arizona State University. Arizona State University. This is, to be more specific, Tempe, Arizona. This is where the Super Bowl was held, 1996, when I was a little boy. My first, I think the first time I ever came out to Phoenix, it might have been 95. It may have been 95, but I think the first time I ever came out to Phoenix was 96. But it like I said, it may have been 95. You know, as you can see, I got some gray in my beard. I got some gray in my beard. So, you know, I'm getting up there in age, so I'll be forgetting stuff. I think that was I think that Super Bowl I think it was the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody, I can't remember the other team, but I think it was Dallas. I think it was Dallas. I think it was Dallas. I remember one of the teams being, because think about it. In the 90s, who else was in the Super Bowl? The Dallas Cowboys. They were the team that was dominating in the 90s, weren't they? As far as like Super Bowls and stuff like that, and being a you know, a powerhouse in the NFL. I'm gonna post the I got a picture of the stadium. I got a picture of the stadium when it was still being built. The stadium was already built, but that part of town at that particular time was not built. The highway that's up and running now, it was being built when I was a little boy. So that's crazy. Let me see here. Right here. It's the new thing, I'm not sure. I only saw let the gray grow. Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna let the gray grow because you know, all that hair dye and shit. All that hair dye and shit, you know what I'm saying? That mess you up. All that hair dye and stuff. So I ain't dying. I'm not dyeing my shit black. I'ma just let my shit grow. All gray. Look, my daughter make fun of me every time she see me. Every time she see me, she swear I got new gray. And I do. I do, man. I'm working like a slave. I'm trying to give this girl a good quinceañera for her 15th birthday. I told my daughter's mom, because my daughter's black and Dominican. I told my daughter's mom, I said, I'm not having no more kids with no Latin women, because Latin women are expensive. Latin little girls are expensive. So I'm not yeah. I don't know, maybe I might have another child with an Asian chick, because I don't think they got any kind of special thing that they do for like their traditions and stuff. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Asian culture like that. I mean, other than the women, I'm familiar with the Asian women, but I'm not familiar with like the Asian culture. So yeah. You got the cord snipped, Professor? You got the cord snipped. Word. Yeah, I got a few more years. I got a few more years before I get the cord snipped. You know, I'm a young old man. I'm a young old man. So so you know, I'm gonna wait a few more years. I'm gonna wait a few more years. You know, probably get me like two wives or something like that. Probably gonna get two wives. I want two wives. Later on down the line, eventually I'm gonna get me two wives. You know. Yeah. And I try to go live. I try to go live on IG. I try to go live because like when I do live streams like this, I like to go live on IG. But when I went to my IG to go live, Instagram blocked me from going live because they said that I had a post that went against community guidelines, and I have my Instagram page for like over a year now, and I don't really be posting offensive shit. I don't really be posting this offensive shit. So I'm just going live on YouTube to test out the camera. You know, this was supposed to be a personal. This is supposed to be more of a personal live because you know, everybody live. When everybody live on the YouTube streets, I like to hit up Twitter and Instagram. Twitter and Instagram. You know, make it a little bit more personable. You heard? But yeah, I'm on Arizona State University grounds. You know, my brother's a freshman here, so you know I'll be on the grounds. You know, for a couple of reasons. I'm pretty sure you know why the other reason is, Professor. I'm pretty sure you might know why the other reason is that I be here on university grounds. Yeah, so now I gotta play the Instagram game. I gotta play the Instagram game and wait and see when they're gonna allow me to go live on Instagram, because I really wanted to go live on Instagram and not YouTube, you know, because Instagram is a little bit more personal and shit, you know, and I like to be personal with the people that I rock with, you know. I don't like everybody in the business like that. But, you know, I was out and about, so I figured I'll just go live, you know, on YouTube and test out the camera. I miss my old phone. Like this phone right here is a little bit more bulky. I'll probably say the camera is better. This phone that I got like 6 cameras on it. 1 in the front and then like 4 or 5 in the back. So the feds is definitely watching me. But the funny thing is, I don't care if the feds watch me. You want to know why? Look, you want to know why I don't care if the feds watch me? Because I used to work for the feds. And get this. My clearance, my federal clearance actually just expired this year. I had my federal clearance since 2013. So my federal clearance just expired this year. I probably will not be renewing it because working, you know what I mean, working for the government is, it ain't the same. It ain't the same. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I remember being on a job one time, and I got into it with a supervisor. And the supervisor in this particular department, she was new. She didn't know the ins and outs. But I did. And, you know, when you're working for the military, when you're working for the Department of Defense, which I gladly serve my country, you feel me? You know, we do things to the best of our ability. We do things to the best of our ability. We execute, and we get shit done. We get the job done. We get it done. There's not too many people like me in this world. It's a lot of lazy people. It's a lot of lazy people. You know? Got one of the... I think we got one of the trains coming back. Yo, I ain't been on the train. I ain't been on the train in a minute. I used to ride the train all the time to work. Well, I keep saying train like I'm in New York or something. Light rail. We call it the light rail over here. Y'all gonna see it in the background. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Let me see. But anyway, like I was saying, this supervisor tried to get loud, right? And I'm not a person that gives a fuck, because I know that most people are dumb. Most people are lazy. Most people don't read, right? I do. I pay attention to everybody. I listen to what people say. I read almost everything. I stay in shape just in case I gotta run, or just in case I gotta put some work in, you know? Gotta be disciplined. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta live in a constant state of discipline. You have to. Gotta be sharp as a machete, right? Yeah. So I hope, like I said, I'm just testing out this camera and whatnot. Yeah. So one thing I want to say too, before I end this live stream, is it's sad how most people today, they don't want the best for themselves. They don't want the best for themselves. I'm going in the gas station. I'm seeing dudes sitting on the floor, sitting on the ground, not even asking for money. Not even asking for money. And It's just a sad, sad state that the world is coming to, especially with men. Especially with men. Um, it's sad. It's sad, man. Sad, man. I'ma lean up. Got another train coming. I was about to lean up against this pole, but this train about to be loud. Oh, we got two trains coming at the same time. One right there, one right there. Who gonna be first? Who's gonna be first? Yeah, man. Hey, yo, back in the day when I used to take the train, we got some of the drunk college students coming through. Y'all hear them? Yeah, back in the day when I used to take this train, I thought about starting my own show and like recording all the crazy shit that goes on the light rail. You know, when I used to take that light rail back and forth to work, man, people used to get on fights. People used to get in fights in there. People used to get stabbed and shit in there. Now, you know, it's a little bit more what you call it, it's a little bit more civilized. It's a little bit more civilized. Now, this was when they first built that light rail. You know, of course, they didn't really have security like that, you know. So, shit, the conductor would stop the train and make people get off the light rail. And yeah, that shit used to be so funny, man. But I used to get mad. I used to get mad girls on that light rail too. Like, I used to get mad girls. Yo, for my young boys, for my young bulls in Phoenix, anybody in Phoenix that's watching this, yeah, take the light rail. You definitely can get you some girls. You definitely get you some girls. I mean, you can get some baddies. Like I said, I'm right here at Arizona State University. You know, because my brother attends. He's a freshman here on campus. You know, I'll be checking on him and shit. And of course, you know, I'll be handling my business when I'm here sometimes. But yeah, Professor. Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, I got 100 subs. You know, we growing slowly. Not in a rush. Not in a rush to get to 1,000 and to get monetized and all that. If I do, great. If I don't, great. You know, if I do, great. If I don't, great. Yeah, but I'm about to end this live. But one thing I wanted to say real quick is like I was saying, it's sad how like the world has got to where it's at as far as like the state of men being men. Like, I never seen so many men homeless, hopeless, wander in the streets. Like I said, I just came from the gas station not that long ago, and you know, the dude sitting by the door, he didn't even ask me for no money. He didn't even ask me for no money. So you know you gotta be in a you gotta be in a terrible place when you're not even asking people for money so you can buy beer. You know, they say they buy food, but you know, a lot of them, you know, they buy beer. You know, let's keep it real. That's what they do. You know, what they do with the money is not my concern. You know, I do my due diligence by giving them the money, and whatever they choose to do with it, that's on them. That ain't on me. Um, but it's gonna get worse and worse, y'all. It's gonna get worse and worse. It's gonna get worse and worse. You know, it's gonna get worse. You know, we starting to see artificial intelligence come about and take everybody's jobs, and so um, that's why it's important for men to get skills like, you know, plumbing, uh, anything that uses your hands. You can use your hands. You know, one thing with me, my stepfather is he always taught me. I, real shit. I learned how to drive a tractor before I learned how to drive a car. Learn how to drive a tractor before I learned how to drive a car. I think I learned how to drive a tractor at like 15. So I learned how to drive a tractor before I learned how to drive a car. You know, used to plant shit, chop firewood in the wintertime. You know, so my step pops, he taught me how to use my hands. He taught me how to get money with my hands, you know, because my stepfather was a high school dropout. So his thing was, you know, he didn't have the knowledge. He didn't have the book smarts. He didn't have the knowledge. He was a smart man. Don't get me wrong. The man got a Benz and he got a Beamer today, sitting in his front yard. But, you know, he always taught me and my brother that we got to use our hands. As long as you can use your hands, and as long as you stay healthy, and as long as you can create a business and you can network and you get your name out there, you can always make money, no matter what state the economy is in, right? And then I have my father, who has my biological father, who has all kind of degrees. You know, I think he's actually back in school right now at 50. How old is my dad? He's 50. He's 50. I think my dad is like 50. He's gonna be 51. Gonna be 51 this year in September. My birthday is September 3rd. My father's birthday is September 30th. So he's gonna be 51. He's gonna be 51 this year. So the funny thing about that is, my biological father is like the exact opposite, right? So he's the book smarts. So all of my wittiness, these essays over here rolling it around on their bikes and shit, grilling me when I'm on this live. They don't want to fuck with me. I don't give a fuck if I'm on college grounds or not. They can get it right here on college ground, and I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about the hammer that you hammer nails with either. Anyway, but that's why I get all my wittiness, my wits. And you know, for the funniest time, I never thought that I was like my dad, my biological dad. I never thought I was like him. I never thought I was like him at all. But people started telling me, yo, you're not ordinary. You know, you pay attention to things, you comprehend things really well, you read really, really well. And you know, and I know a little bit about computers and software be, because that's what my dad does, right? So that's who taught me that. Um, and I'm actually going into the field of technology as well, probably later this year or next year. So I'm the best of both worlds. I'm the best of both worlds. So I think that men, you got to be able to use your hands when you need to, and you got to be able to use your brain when you need to. And you got to be careful with the smoking and the drinking. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because just like the two dudes that rode through here on their little tricycles, the cholos that rode through here on their tricycles, looking at me like I'm fool, looking at me like I'm fool. You got to be able to use your hands. You got to be able to use your hands. You got to be able to use your brain. And when you're drunk and high, you're not sober. When you're drunk and high, you put yourself at risk. You make yourself more of a bigger target when you're drunk and high. So I take pride in being sober. Now I like to have a sippy sip every now and then, but not often, because when I have a sippy sip, what happens is I get paranoid, right? And I always think about the worst case scenario, you know? And I would hate to have to do something to somebody when I'm under the influence. So because of that, when I'm in public, I don't really drink. I don't really drink when I'm in public unless I'm like right around the corner from my spot, which right now I'm not that far from my spot, but at the same time, I got to remain sober because I got to remain alert because I got to remain at the highest vibration, right? So that's my thing. You got to be aware. You got to be aware. You got to be aware, and you can't, all that drinking and smoking and stuff. It makes now some people can do it, and some people can, some people can smoke, and they be productive as hell. And the funny thing about that, and one more thing too. I know I'm in Phoenix, and I know that Phoenix is synonymous with being hot, but right now it's actually cold as shit out here. Right now, one of the reasons I'm out in the cold right now is because I'm actually boosting my immune system, right? And that's another reason why people get sick all the time is because all they do is stay in the house. All they do is stay in the house. They never come outside. They never get no air. They never get no sun. Your body is like a thermos. Your body needs to be in cold temperatures so that it's going to allow your body to warm up and be able to kill any viruses, bad bacteria, things like that. So that's one of the reasons why, aside from testing my camera, that's another reason why I'm outside right now, So, yeah, man, be careful with the smoking and drinking, You got to be at the high frequency. You got to be at the high vibration. You got to be, Popo's rolling up. You got to be able to be productive. You got to be able to be productive. And I know a lot of people like to talk a lot of slack, a lot of stuff about like older people. But one thing about me is I was actually raised by older people. I was raised by my grandparents for like the first half of my life, right? Before my mom got me. And unraveled unraveled all the work that my grandparents put into me. One thing about my grandparents and people like them, my grandparents are like 96, 98. My grandfather's like 98. One thing about them is that they worked. They worked and they worked and they worked. And, people like my guy, Mr. Goodbread, says, we sent here to work. And I totally agree with that. Because we got to understand that the future is coming. The future is coming. If you're blessed to get old, the future is going to be here quicker than you know it. And the funny thing about time is that Um, the funny thing about time is that we have this perception that time is really slow, but time is moving faster than you think. You know, we always have this perception that time is moving really slow, but time is actually really moving really fast. So like I was saying about the old people, is that one thing that I learned about the old people, because my grandparents, they retired. I'm 34. I'm 34. I was born, my grandparents were in their 60s. They've been retired since before I was born, right? And they get a pension and all that. Both my grandmother and grandfather, they both get pensions. And now my aunt and my uncle are taking care of them at their house. One thing I learned about from them that can never be taken away is they worked for every vacation, every car, everything that they got. They worked. They knew the value of work. They knew the value of hard work. And that's why I said at the beginning of the live is that, like, I might be gray. I'm 34. I might be completely gray by the time I'm 40 because I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm taking advantage of my youth. And I know people say 34, that's not youth. Yes, it is. People be in their 70s talking about, I don't feel 70. I don't feel my age. That's because youth is a feeling and youth is a mindset. So you can let yourself get old by not taking care of yourself, drinking yourself to death, not getting your rest. Or you can take care of yourself and you can feel youthful and rejuvenated. You can be in your 50s and still be youthful if you take care of yourself. So maximize your productivity, especially if you're a man. Especially if you're a man. Maximize your productivity. Take it to the fucking limit. Know what the fuck you're doing. Know what the fuck you're doing. If it's any young men watching this clip, watching this video, watching this live stream, if it's any young man watching this live stream, if you don't remember anything else I said, if you don't remember anything else I say, the best insight that I can give you, because I don't like to give advice. You know why I don't give advice? Because motherfuckers don't listen to advice. I like to give you insight because I'm actually living this shit. The shit that I talk about, I'm actually living this shit. I'm actually living this shit. I'm actually living the shit that I talk about. If I tell you about something, it's because I lived it or I'm living it now. Or I've made plans to live it. When you get money, and I'm saying this because I was privileged enough to be born into a family, to more so speaking about my father's side, where I could go beg my dad for anything I want right now. I could go beg my dad and say, hey dad, I need some help paying the rent. Hey dad, I need some money for this new equipment. Hey dad, I need this. Hey dad, I need that. Right now. I could do it right now. Right now. But you know what? If I did that, that's not teaching me the value of hard work. Every day when I get up, and when I feel myself being lazy, when I feel myself not being disciplined, when I feel myself not taking care of my priorities and not doing what I'm supposed to do, because you got to do what you got to do so that you can do what you want to do. When I find myself getting lazy and being undisciplined, what I do is I think about all the decades that my grandparents of hard work that my grandparents put in for me to be standing here talking to y'all right now. And I take that energy and I use that to help propel me and get me through the things that I'm supposed to do. Because my grandparents didn't raise me to be no fool. They didn't raise me to be no fool. They didn't raise me to have my family looking like a bunch of idiots. But apparently, we live in a time today where it seems like honor means, it don't mean nothing. Honor don't mean shit. Honor don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Where were your great grandparents in 1850? So in 1850, my grandparents on my mother's side, they were like in Charleston, South Carolina. On my mother's side. On my mother's side. They were like in like Charleston, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. Because that's where I'm from. I'm originally born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina. But I can't lie, I got a lot of I got a lot of Brooklyn energy. I got a lot of Brooklyn swag because I mean this is gonna connect the second part. So in 1850 on my father's side, my grandparents or great grandparents were in Trinidad. Remember, I keep telling it, I told multiple people I'm Trinidadian. And you want to know how I found out I'm Trinidadian? This is funny, right? I was raised up in a Trinidadian household, eating lamb and goat and shit, wearing sandals and shit. People used to make fun of me when I was a little boy because, you know, islanders, you know, we wear sandals and all of that kind of stuff, right? So then there came a point where I was like, you know what, fuck that. I ain't wearing sandals and flip-flops. I'm black. I'm wearing tennis shoes. So people used to be like, "Oh, your father's Trinidadian? Well, you are what your father's seed is. You're your father's seed. So whatever your father is, that's your predominant gene. That's what you are, right? But I never denounce, you know, my ties to slavery because I know for a fact we had slaves on my mom's side. I know this for a fact. Like I said, on that side, I'm from South Carolina. My grandparents, they moved to the U.S. in like the 60s, I think. They moved to the U.S. in like the 60s. They moved from Trinidad. They moved from Trinidad to Brooklyn. So that's why I say I kind of got some of that Brooklyn swag a little bit, and that Brooklyn mindset because, you know, they raised me, and even when they retired, they still, New Yorkers are very productive. Like back in those days, in the 60s, 70s, and you know the partially the 80s, New Yorkers were very productive. Like New Yorkers back then used to be some of the hardest workers in the nation, and they kept that same grind when they retired and they moved down south. But I'm about to end this live though. Whoever watching this, make sure y'all hit the like button. I was gonna take this live down, but I didn't realize I was gonna end up, you know, talking and all that. But I'm gonna say this to any young man watching, any young boys watching, man. Listen. I don't care if you college educated, if you're a school dropout. All that shit is facade. All this, you need this piece of paper, you gotta get this education. Like, if you can afford to do that, and if you do that, that's great. Just be great at that. Do whatever you do, be great at it. But look, grind like you broke, even when you get money. And I brought up that, situation with my dad because with my dad about me asking him for shit. Because if I don't work for it, then that's handicapping me as a man. You know, the same way that my grandparents worked for everything that they got, the same way they came to this country and they were productive citizens and they gave to the youth. My grandparents did a lot. They did a lot for the community. They did a lot for the so-called black community. They didn't just come here to this country and mooch. They worked for every dime that they had. No social programs, none of that shit. And that's exactly how I plan to do it. I plan to do it the same way. You know why? Because they got positive results. And at the end of the day, it's about results. So hard work is always going to pay off. And even when you get money, you still got to fucking grind like you broke. Still got to grind like you broke, even when you get money. Because if you don't, eventually you're not going to have the money. You're not going to have the money. Professor, as far as my descendants, you know, Trinidad and foundational Black American or American descendants of slaves. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I know when I get pulled over by the popo, I'm a black man, and I know they don't give a damn where my family come from. So I identify as a so-called black man. I'm proud of my Trinidadian heritage and I'm proud of my FBA heritage. But at the end of the day, the dominant society, they don't give a fuck about none of that shit. So, you know, I'm not stuck up on the whole race thing and all that shit. Like people like to get stuck up on that shit. That shit don't mean nothing. It means it means everything, but that shit don't mean nothing. What means something is what you doing. What you doing to get money, and what you doing to help the youth, and what you doing for your children. That's the only shit that means shit. That's the only shit that means shit. And you want me to tell you, and you want me to tell you why a lot of this race shit don't mean shit? Want me to tell you why? Want me to tell you why a lot of this race shit don't mean shit? Because I like women of all nationalities, ethnicities. All. And most of the people that I know that got the same kind of mindset, they do too. Because I can get with any nationality, any ethnicity, get me a wife and have children. My grandparents ain't even raised, they ain't even raised me to be proud to be so-called black. They raised me to be proud to be a man. They raised me because they knew, listen, I'm not just talking to you, Professor, but they already knew that if I was, they never told me be proud to be black. None of that. None of that. None of that. None of that. None. Not one day in my life. They taught me how to be a good person. Be proud of being a good man. Be proud of being a good man. You a man first. Son, you a man first. That's what they taught me. That's what they taught me. Hey, listen, I appreciate everybody watching tonight. Like I said, I ain't even realized I was gonna go this long. And To be honest with you, my arm is kind of hurting from holding this heavy ass phone. So, with that being said, hit that like button on your way out, subscribe, and hit the bell if you choose to, if you want to. I love you guys. Y'all be safe. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.